Welcome, everyone. My name's Chris Sishu.
My name is Gabe Pieper-Gertis.
My name is Marie Robert.
And my name is Alfonso Del Aguila.
And we serve as your Senior Class Officer Council of the Student Government Association. It's our pleasure to welcome the Class of 2021, their families, as well as all members of the Holy Cross community to Senior Convocation for the Class of 2021. Before we begin, we would like to commend all members of our class for your perseverance during these unprecedented times. As others will reflect on during tonight's program, it's clear that the ongoing global and national challenges have affected and influenced our experience at Holy Cross, but it has not stopped us.
Tonight, we are encouraged to reflect on our time on the Hill. We began our time as Holy Cross students not long ago, each of us growing from who we once were just 3.5 years ago. Home for us is in 12 countries: Austria, Canada, China, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Ireland, the Netherlands, the Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, and the United States. In the United States, we come from 32 states. We've all been brought together as a class, all 734 of us, the class of 2021. Together, we prepare for one final semester as Holy Cross students during tonight's event.
Senior Convocation is an annual tradition to call seniors to contemplate how we will move into the world and challenge ourselves to commit to living our last semester to its fullest, even if it will be different than what we expected. We hope you enjoy the program and best of luck in the semester ahead, class of 2021. As we think back on our 3.5 years of our experiences at Holy Cross, you'll now hear brief reflections from members of our class from each of the academic semesters.
Finding out your roommate and what hall you're going to live in, and quickly logging into the GroupMe to share and connect with other classmates, hearing them say, "I'm in Brooks, I'm in Hanselman, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be your next door neighbor." Nervously saying goodbye to your dog in your hometown, excited to start your new life on the Hill. Driving up to campus on move-in day with your family and seeing the OLs screaming and jumping outside of your hall ready to greet you. Starting your first college classes and getting the number of the student who sits next to you so that you can study together, wondering how you're going to survive the semester. Getting ready and going out with a group of people from your hallway who little did you know would be your best friends for the next 4 years. Exploring the city of Worcester, taking many photos of the iconic Worcester sunset, the colorful ivy on Fenwick in autumn, and the beauty that is the O'Kane Tower in winter. Packing up and saying a bittersweet goodbye to your friends in your residence hall. Wondering how we made it through all those stressful nights and counting our blessings for Crossroads mozzarella sticks, Quizlet, and counting down the days until we were back on the Hill.
No longer being called a freshie by all of the upperclassmen, all of a sudden realizing that everything feels a lot more familiar. The people, the food, and the staff all feel like home. Landing your first internship and a summer program after spending almost every day at the Career Development Center working on your resume and some cover letters. Finally learning how to balance schoolwork and having a social life with new and old friends. And lastly, getting more involved on campus and the community, whether it be student-led organizations or volunteering in Worcester.
Soaking in the aromas from nearby boulangeries, the chic fashion adorned by French teenagers, and the faint hum of people enjoying a cigarette outside of a cafe. Feeling my heart race as I raised my hand for the first time in a class full of native French students. Getting yelled at in Czech by an old woman who lives below our Airbnb, because speaking in whispers is still too loud on Halloween. Riding a camel in the middle of a Moroccan desert, and then watching the camels try to run away as we sip our tea under a tent. Walking alone in Rome, picking random monuments to visit on Google Maps, and eating fresh pasta while gazing at the Colosseum. Smirking every time my host father says his cooking is superior to my host mother's because his meals are made with love. Before heading home earlier than planned due to COVID-19, sharing one last meal with a host family that, in 7 short months, has become my own.
Junior year at Holy Cross. Running on the cross-country trail, where runners train throughout the spring and fall, deer and rabbits occasionally graze. Walking along the path to clear my mind, and to my surprise, a lone deer stood still on the grassy trail and stared at me, It dashed away and left me in awe. Magic appears where you least expect it on the hill. Worcester winds chilling my bones, and wild classwork would weigh on my mind. Heading up to the Heart Center with a few buddies and diving into the pool and floating around. Wanting not just to swim, but to chill and talk in the sauna, the campus's hidden jewel. On afternoon runs, observing the action of the campus. The students and faculty ebb and flow to and from Stein, Fenwick, and the Science Building. The puffing smoke from Kimball into the air, and it diffusing away while the Worcester Freeway hummed. March 11th, 2020, all eyes focusing on President Boroughs' announcement. All classes shifting to remote learning and all students leaving campus. Shock and disbelief permeated rapidly throughout the campus. As soon as the announcement reached all of us, embracing each other and saying too soon goodbyes, while spending our dining dollars lavishly, the trajectory of our Holy Cross journey taking an unexpected swerve into an uncertain world, online learning.
Finding a sense of community and feeling united through Soul Squads, a virtual retreat that brought together members of the senior class to reflect on their last first semester at Holy Cross. Leading an incredibly amazing group on the socially distanced immersion program after admiring the leaders who helped me fall in love with the program. Strolling outside for a small break from the screen and reflecting on how grateful I am for my experiences as a Holy Cross student that have helped me discover my passion. The bittersweet moment of hitting the submit button on my first post-grad application and realizing this will be the last time I will be sharing the same experience as my friends before we each part on our own ways. Celebrating many of the college's traditions with my closest friends, including a virtual watch party for lessons and carols, and reminiscing on our favorite memories throughout the last 3.5 years. Thinking about the excitement of being able to reunite with our friends and make our last memories on the Hill as students during our last semester.
I know this isn't what any of us had in mind for our senior year. Masks, social distancing, Zoom. We all feel a sense of disappointment about things that can't happen due to this current situation, which, don't worry, I won't refer to as uncharted territory. While these feelings are real and valid, I want to propose a challenge. Let's try not to get so caught up in what isn't that we lose sight of all that is. In a few short months, we're going to be Holy Cross alumni. And when we're 5, 10, 30 years out of college, how do we want to remember our time on the Hill? Sure, I think it's safe to say that COVID-19 will be something we associate with our time here. But our Holy Cross careers have been so much more than that. I'll remember the first snowfall each winter, students dropping everything to go sledding on Kimball trays by Freshman Field. I'll remember flocks of crusaders temporarily leaving their posts in Diamond, filling cool beans to hear sons of pitches sing in their suit jackets and shorts. I'll remember seminars and office hours with our passionate professors who chose this institution so they could not just teach us, but know us. I'll remember the way my feet felt by 5 a.m. during dance marathon, knowing I wouldn't be sitting down for another 3 hours, so I could literally stand in solidarity with kids battling AIDS. As I think back to these moments, I'll certainly remember the people who shared them with me. I hope I speak for all of us when I say the past 3.5 years have taught me what it means to be part of a strong and devoted community. Hundreds of us have volunteered with SPUD or working for Worcester, so we can leave a positive mark on the city that has welcomed and embraced us since we arrived.
We helped make the largest student demonstration in our college's history happen because we love this place so much. We banded together and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for our women's rowing team when they suffered a tragic accident. We don't give up when we're presented with roadblocks. This situation that we're in, virtual classes and masks that cover the smiles we'd typically exchange without a thought, this isn't going to define our college careers. How we respond to it, though, that carries some weight. I don't mean to minimize how challenging this year has already been, but I do hope to offer a sense of encouragement that there are things within our control. We aren't done here, and our best moments don't have to be behind us. I wholeheartedly believe our class can make this final semester special if we refuse to lose sight of our community's purpose. With that comes an enormous responsibility to our campus, our city, our nation. Right now, people are isolated by mandates to quarantine and avoid gathering with others. And somehow this isn't the greatest of our problems. Our politics have led many people to resort to vilification. Our nation is plagued by racism. From our first week as Crusaders, we've been educated about the importance of being people for and with others. No one ever said it was going to be easy. Still, I've witnessed members of the Holy Cross community living in solidarity with one another since the arrival of the pandemic. Campus organizations like OSI and CAB have sought out creative ways to give us things to look forward to on the weekends. Remote RAs have thought outside the box to bring the residential experience into our homes. Our faculty and administration have worked tirelessly to keep us in the city of Worcester safe without compromising our learning. Finally, I've seen a community of students refuse to let a virus burn the bridges we've spent the past 3.5 years building. We've organized game nights for the clubs we love. We've mailed each other letters and postcards. We've even logged extra hours on Zoom just to see our friends' faces. My challenge to you, my class, is to shift your focus from all of the things that look different this year and actively look for the ways our community has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to one another. Then, we can take it one step further and begin to consider how we'll keep our senior year from being ruined by something we can't control. We can begin to think critically about our responsibilities to the larger community we're a part of. We can begin to confront the difficult realities of living in a divided nation. First, we stay positive and recognize that we can still break out hammocks and read by the Hovel, even if it means wearing masks. We can make the most of Spud, even if tutoring needs to be done virtually. We can engage in thought-provoking discussions with our professors and classmates, even if not in close proximity to one another. We can even create new traditions this semester. Birch tree to go for a picnic in one of Worcester's parks on a warm April day. Quality time with our roommates as we spend chilly Friday nights watching movies and snacking on popcorn. The small joys don't need to fade away. But we need to be willing to address the larger issues in our world through conversation and concrete action. Start with the baby step of attending Holy Cross's facilitated dialogues on how to move forward in the midst of political division. Make that difficult decision to attend College Democrats or Republicans meeting to hear different perspectives with an open mind. Seek out active ways to eliminate racism by participating in peaceful protests or by writing to your representatives. We all need to find something to contribute. Sharing messages of solidarity on our Instagram stories and moving on with our lives just isn't enough. Class of 2021. In our final months as Holy Cross students, I pray that we remember what it means to be crusaders. Be someone people can rely on. Stand up for what you believe in. Use this opportunity to live the mission. Pour yourself into this semester. Make some memories.
Good evening. and welcome to the final semester of your senior year at Holy Cross. None of us will ever forget that this year tragically began with the death of Grace Rhett and the serious injury of several classmates and coach. And then our country became embroiled in a major social upheaval because of recurring racial violence, while at the same time the whole world was overwhelmed by a rapidly expanding global pandemic and recession. And now our year came to an end with one of the most divisive elections in our nation's history, which spilled over into mob violence in our nation's capital. Consequently, we enter this spring semester grieving, saddened, tired, and anxious, and maybe just a bit hopeful that vaccines might restore some sense of normality over the months ahead. Like you, this is also my final semester at Holy Cross, as I will be stepping down as president on June 30th. My provincial has told me that I'm being given a year's sabbatical, after which I will receive a new assignment. And at this point in my life, hopefully it will be one with less responsibility and stress. So for you and for me, this is an important time in our respective lives, a time for reflecting on who we are becoming and what we are being called to do next. First of all, I suspect we're all wondering what this coming semester will hold, enmeshed as it is with so much uncertainty. And then we ponder what will follow after this semester ends and our world slowly begins to heal. In my remarks this evening, I want to reflect on the significance of this time in your lives and mine, how our identity and worldview are shaped by our experience, and then suggest a few things about the semester ahead. First of all, just as traumatic world events have touched every generation before us, our lives too are being forever changed because of what we have experienced over the past many months. The multiple challenges we faced last year and continuing into this year will frame how we understand ourselves and what we value for years to come. For me, while my life as a Jesuit has always included daily time for contemplative prayer and discernment, among many other consequences of the pandemic has been even more time for quiet reflection. Now, this might be a consequence of my age, but lately I have found myself thinking a great deal about the past, particularly my family and all the realities which have shaped my identity today. More than any other time in my life, I have come to appreciate the challenges both sets of my grandparents faced when they married during the First World War and then gave birth to my mom and dad respectively during the great flu epidemic of 1918. 20 million people died in the First World War, and then just after it ended, 500 million people across the world were infected with the flu, and 50 million of them died. 10 years later, after my dad and his parents had emigrated from Scotland to Canada, hoping for a better life, both of my parents' families endured the Great Depression there. My parents married and started their family during the Second World War, where 56 million people were killed and many millions more died of starvation and illness. And a few years after the war, our growing family emigrated to the United States. During my lifetime here, we have endured the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the enduring Afghan War, and the Iraq War. And overlapping these more recent wars, globally, 76 million people have become infected with HIV/AIDS, and almost 33 million have died in this global epidemic. While we hear that the COVID pandemic is unprecedented, in fact, the 20th and 21st centuries have endured the loss of millions of people to war and disease. Well, in response to the needs of their times, my parents began their professional lives as high school teachers. They saw the importance of education in promoting social justice in their own families' experiences, and they wanted to participate in that work. And they valued the importance of belonging to a vibrant faith community which promoted justice, compassion, and making a difference. They instilled these same values in their children, and their example certainly affected why I entered the Jesuits and became an educator. Now, all this has become much more vivid to me as I've reflected on the power of history, tragedy, and world events to form how we think about ourselves, our future, our responsibilities, and the choices we make as a consequence. I wonder how our recent experiences of uncertainty, death, racism, violence, pandemic, recession, and political polarization will affect your lives, how you see yourselves in the world, and the choices that you make with regard to your own careers and faith life. How will you use your gifts and talents to make a difference, to heal, to serve, to protect, to discover, to invent? How are you being called to give yourselves to others and to bring hope? And whether you're a graduating senior and anticipating a long life ahead, or someone like me in at least the last quarter of my life, how can we spend what time we have meaningfully, generously, and lovingly? What have we been given or experienced that now, with reflection or more advanced study, might become a gift for others? You have all been gone from campus for the past 10 months, and God and pandemic willing will have returned to campus when you view this ceremony, or hope to very soon thereafter. I think we have all learned over the past year that we aren't ultimately in control of many things in our lives, but we can control how we respond to what is given to us. For example, we know that many today, in spite of science and data, deny the reality of COVID, while others of us are so tired of it that we are not willing to comply with safety measures. On the other hand, we have also seen the determination, selflessness, and resiliency of first responders and medical professionals, especially our own Dr. Anthony Fauci, who with intelligence and discerning wisdom thoughtfully bring reason and science into a contentious situation. So let us choose wisely how we plan to live together and care for each other. As we come together again here on campus, life will be different and will ask more of us than is typical. While you, in general, are less susceptible to the dangers of the virus, your staff and faculty, especially the high percentage of us who are over 60, are very susceptible to what you might be carrying unknowingly. Please help to protect us who are here to support and care for you. Seemingly innocent gatherings can, in weeks down the line, become fatal experiences for others you may never know as the pandemic spreads. And quite frankly, our ability to keep the campus open this semester is going to depend on your sense of responsibility and the choices that you make. Now, as is obvious, the pandemic won't disappear once some of us are all vaccinated. It will take months for most of us to receive the vaccine, and the healing process will be slow, gradual, and nonlinear. So we not only need to be smart and selfless, we're going to have to be patient and generous as well. Finally, as seniors, your leadership and example will be critical for the rest of our student body. Many of our first-year students have never been on campus before, and our second-year students have only spent part of a year here. I hope that they will see in you and your leadership examples of who we can be for each other and as a campus community in your final semester here. I know this isn't the year we hoped for or wanted, but I've come to realize that almost every generation has been touched similarly in their lifetimes. Therefore, how we live into and respond to the realities of our time will determine if we will become another greatest generation or not. Knowing who you are and what you've been given by your families, how you've been influenced by your education and your faith tradition, I have every confidence that the struggles we face can become a defining element in your human development and your service to our world. God bless us all and all that lies ahead.
Dear members of the class of 2021, I would like to offer you my warmest welcome back. Unusual, challenging, frustrating, chaotic, odd, sad, lonely. These are some of the adjectives that many of you have used to describe the last few months. We can all agree that there were some terrible, horrible, no good, very bad months. We all long for the days back on Mount St. James. We miss the company of our friends and the times of solitude. We miss the stillness of the chapel and the energy of the heart. We miss the silence of Dinan and the busy sounds of Kimball. We miss the crowds in Crossroads and the time we study alone. We miss the intellectual discoveries that happen in the classroom and the silly moments talking to our friends. We miss everything and everyone. We long for a sense of normalcy. Despite all of this, we shouldn't cry because we have lost the sun. We shouldn't cry because the tears won't let us see the stars. I encourage you, the members of the class of 2021, not to give up, but to remain optimistic, and remember that there is always a rainbow at the end of the storm. I ask that you take stock into what you have learned, to embrace what will likely be the challenge of your generation, and to set to do your best. These last few months, we have learned to value the things that we have lost, but also, and more importantly, to appreciate the things that we have gained. The extra time you spend with family and the people you love. The newfound ways to stay in touch with friends. The experience gained working and learning in an online environment. The realization that you are now more resilient than before, that no matter the obstacles, you will be able to overcome them. No matter what this spring semester brings, remember that you are not alone. Stay in touch with friends and classmates. Find time to check on each other and time to take care of yourselves. I have no doubt that you will thrive, that you will become successful, that you will see your dreams fulfilled. You will always have each other's back. You will continue to be friends. Don't cry because you have lost the sun, because the tears won't let you see the stars.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, you are the source of new beginnings. We rejoice in the talents, the accomplishments, and the zeal of the class of 2021. As we gather virtually this evening, we rejoice in their contributions to the Holy Cross community. As their final semester at the college commences, we invite you to fill them with energy and idealism. Inspire their hopes and their dreams. Soothe their fears and their anxieties. And calm their doubts and questions about the future. May your Spirit ignite their hearts, kindle in their minds creativity, and fan into flame perseverance as they journey beyond past limits. May the months ahead challenge them towards new frontiers that will draw from them their undiscovered gifts.
We pause to give thanks for the many blessings of this class. We are grateful for family and friends whose love is boundless. We glorify you for the faculty, coaches, and administrators whose dedication has elicited the best in them. We praise you for the communities of faith that have empowered them to discern your presence in the world. Faithful God, guide us all as we journey forward together. Illumine us with an awareness of your abiding love. Awaken in us the many ways you have endowed us. Bestow on us the freedom to share our gifts in the building up of the human family and the stewardship of all creation. For these and for all your blessings, we make our thanks this evening in your name. Amen.
Oh, hear thy voices, one in song. Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross, thy spirit's loyal, true and strong. Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross, thy purple banner floats on high, while songs of praise swell to the sky. Thy honored name shall never die. Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross, we give to thee our hearty praise. Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross, in memory of happy days. Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross, ring out, old tower bell, our alma mater's triumphs tell. To those who loved her name so well, Holy Cross, oh, Holy Cross.
Thank you for joining us for Senior Convocation this evening. We hope you enjoyed the program and are looking forward to our final semester as Holy Cross students.